Hello, YouTube. This one's a little different today. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the, UFOs and those drones and those floating orbs and all that stuff. And uh, none of this stuff is anything to me. I got a story for you. It's an interesting one because it's been confirmed by multiple people, and let's see, where should I start? Back in about 1995, 96, I think, somewhere in there, I was hanging out with a friend, and we were playing poker in my apartment, and drinking, of course, back then. And we kind of got in an argument, and he ended up rushing out, and I thought, wow, this is not going to be good for him. But, I couldn't stop him, so I went to bed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this with, is it preface? It might not be the right word to use, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and enter this part of it. For that, earlier in that same month, I had noticed 3 really bright stars that were over the Safeway. Might have been Lucky's back then, but it was a grocery store. It was like right over the top of it that I saw it every single day. I'd see these 3 stars, and they kind of caught my attention, but I just, I kind of went on with my life. And I noticed it, and I'd mentioned it to some people, and they were kind of like, yeah, it's just stars, whatever. And so to get back to my story, the buddy left, and I went to bed. In the middle of the night, I get a call from my buddy, and he'd gotten arrested for driving intoxicated, and spent the night in the hospital. He called me about 4 o'clock in the morning. So he called me, asked me to come and get him and take him home. So I went over, and I went out to my car. And as I walked out to my car, I noticed that the 3 really bright lights over the grocery store, you could call them stars, but one of them was gone. There was only 2 of them there. And it was kind of like, whoa, that's kind of trippy. But I got in my car, and I started driving. And I went and picked him up from the police department and drove him home. On the way home, I'm like, dude, did you ever notice those really bright stars that were above Lucky's or Safeway, whichever it was back then? And he goes, dude, I don't want to talk about any stars right now. I just got out of jail. I want to go home and go to sleep. I said, I'll totally get you there. So I brought him home, dropped him off there, and turned around and started heading back. Now, I'm driving back, and of course, it's really early in the morning. It's 4:30 by this time, at least maybe 4:45. And I'm driving back, and I happen to catch a bright light go by my car, and it kind of like, what? And all of a sudden, it was really crazy because the car was going, and all of a sudden there was this big, bright, blue-greenish light just floating, like going back and forth in front of my car. It was almost like a disc, but now it's kind of hard. The memory is a little bit off, but I remember that like it was like it was yesterday. It was crazy because I thought, am I really seeing this? And I watched this thing is going in front of my car back and forth like that. And so I'm watching this thing, and all of a sudden it just takes off. It's gone. And I'm like, wow, what did I just witness? Well, I'll tell you, I got home, and I had parked my car and looked over at the 2 stars that had turned into no stars. And that was the end of that story. I told everybody about it, and everyone thought I was nuts. And a couple of people were like, yeah, I saw the stars, but I didn't think anything of it, and they're just gone. It's nothing big deal. Well, shooting back up in time, back in like 2006, I worked at a pawn shop, and I was talking to one of my coworkers about that incident, and they thought I was nuts. That guy's crazy anyway, so they believe that. And all of a sudden, one of my customers comes running up and says, "Dude, are you talking about the 3 stars that were over?" It was Safeway. I think he said Safeway, but he said they were over Safeway back in like in '95 or '96, something like that. I'm like, "Yeah, dude." He goes, "Man, there was like some serious activity going on around that time." And I'd noticed all of that. I actually looked into it and found out that the military was not behind it, but they were aware of it. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And it kind of confirmed the fact that it actually happened, but I already knew it happened. But it confirmed it to my coworkers who tripped out over it. And then I told that story, told my friends that I still were hanging out with and about the same story. And they were like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I've actually heard a couple of different instances of that, not just yours, but nobody is as detailed as what you said. I'm telling you, I've never believed that we're alone, ever, not once. Do I believe they're extraterrestrials? Well, actually, an extraterrestrial is just somebody who's not from here. Do I believe they're from outer space? Well, that I don't know. I've heard a lot of different things on the spiritual level saying that they're us, and they're just us in another dimension. It's very possible. I wouldn't doubt it. I've always said, we should be flying in our cars right now. Something's way off. There's no reason that we should be suffering the way that we are and having to still get around with bicycles and motorcycles and cars. We should be doing more. Well, now they get the self-driving cars, but none. They're not right either. I know it. It doesn't feel right to me. So anyway, that's my story. It's a real short one because I'm not a big storyteller, but it's interesting enough, I think, with the time that we're in and the things that people are seeing. I'm well aware that we are not alone. Just don't know who is there along with us. But I do believe that they aren't out to harm us in any way. At least not all of them. If you hear about all the grays and all that stuff, I've been following that stuff for a long time, and there's our government supposedly has contracts with some of them, allowing them to abduct some of our citizens, do tests on them, and we get to hear about it from them. Of course, they're labeled as crazy. I don't know. I think we must all be crazy, right? Anyway, just a little bit different than my normal videos, and I've gone through some stuff in the last year that's really opened my eyes towards all of this, and I'm looking forward to 2025. It's just going to get more and more interesting. The game is definitely at hand. Anyway, you all take care. I don't know you, but I love you. Peace.